it's Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I'm back today with a layout for Scraplift Crafternoon, and it's where a bunch of my crafty peeps and I get together and we scraplift an amazing layout by an amazing creator. And you saw the layout at the top of the video, and we are scraplifting Kristen, and she's one of our very own, but it's her birthday, so happy birthday, Kristen. And I am combining it with 31 days of cut files, and I'm on day 17, and it is the typewriter cut file. And so I pulled in my 49 and Market Academia collection, and I have the laser cut elements and the paper, and then I also pulled in just some fun sciencey type bits from my stash. And then I am going to make this cut file more vintage-ish because the 49 and Market Academia collection has more of a vintage flair. So I took my cut file and I am using the Distress ink and tea dye, and I am inking the entire cut file. And I had made this cut file smaller, so it's 5 inches, so it's like 5 by 5, I think is what it turns out. And so it's very fragile. And so as I'm inking it, I have to be careful not to rip any of the bits off. And since I want to make it vintage, I think it worked out really well. Like the part at the top where the little pieces of metal like pop up and actually do the typewriting part. Is that what it's called? Typewriting part. The part of them broke off. A couple of them broke off just from cutting with the Cricut, but I kept it because it kind of adds to the vintage flair. And then I am taking my Distress spray in Vintage Photo, and I am just splattering the cut file. And I originally was going to not back the cut file, but I'll change my mind once I start putting the layout together. But I am pulling in this green paper as my main paper for the background. And in Kristen's layout, she has what I can assume is 2 6-inch pieces of paper that she put together. And so I took the green paper and I cut 6 inches, and then I'm going to use this scrap piece of scrapbook paper, and I will adhere this green piece down, and then I'm going to take the other paper that I'm using and butt it up and glue that down, and then just cut off the excess because I was afraid that I might not measure correctly. It's not my strong suit. Cutting straight lines, I don't know. But so I got that glued down, and then I just will cut off the excess from this scrap 12 by 12. And so then I know that it's a 12 by 12 piece of paper. But I will then ink all the edges with the tea dye. I ink the edges of everything on here with the Distress ink tea dye color. And I really love the circle paper because I thought it looked like cells. And so today I am scrapbooking some pictures of my research. I am a first author of my very first paper. Well, I've been in other papers, but I wasn't a first author. And so this is the first time I was the first author, and it's a picture of the journal cover of the issue that my paper's in. And then I have a smaller version of the paper, like the PDF, and then I have a picture of the title and where it just shows my name as the first author. And so I'm excited to scrapbook these. This was in 2024, and so I was surprised that I hadn't documented this yet because it's a big thing for me. And so I started to try to get everything situated, and then I realized I needed to back the typewriter because I liked this card that I found in my stash, and it looks like science notes on a notebook, but for some reason at the bottom left corner there's like a picture of people with basketball uniform on, so I needed to cover that. And so I backed the cut file with just a black pattern from the collection, and then I thought that it would be so cute to stick the picture of my paper in the typewriter. And so then that changed my whole direction because in Kristen's layout, she had a bunch of layers behind her paper, and I was going to do that. I was going to have a bunch of layers, but then when I decided to stick the paper in the typewriter, everything went out the window. And so I did want to put these chevron borders down the center of where both the papers meet, because Kristen had that in her layout. And so that's pretty much where I followed her inspiration, and then I went rogue. Once I'm sticking that paper in the typewriter, I had a whole other, I just went off the deep end. But I think it turned out really cute. And I knew I needed to back my photos because there's a lot of white and I didn't want it to blend in. And so I actually had this cream like scrap paper from who knows which layout, but next to me. And so I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I backed the photos with the cream paper, and then the photo that's in the typewriter I backed with the paper with the circles, and then the other two I backed with the green paper. So it was kind of like the whichever side the picture was on, it was backed with the opposite side's pattern paper. And so while I'm backing my photos and stuff, make sure that you guys go to the description box. There's amazing stuff down there. We have the 31 Days of Cutfiles with MK and Janet, and we're on day 17. And there's a playlist and a Facebook page, so you can go and see what everyone did with their typewriter for today, as well as MK and Janet's YouTube channels, so you can go and subscribe and like to them. There's a link to MK's shop, so you can purchase the cut files and also purchase other amazing things she has in her shop. There's also the link for Scraplift Crafternoon. We have a playlist, so you can just watch what everyone did with Kristen's layout today, as well as the links for everyone's social media that is part of Scraplift Crafternoon, so you can go and give them loves and likes. Make sure you go and tell Kristen happy birthday and love and like her page. She has an Instagram as well as a YouTube. She does beautiful layouts and amazing things, so hop on over there. And then thank you to everyone that has liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you want to be notified when I have new videos, just hit the little bell notification. But I started to pull in my ephemera, and there's actually not too much that goes on here. I pulled in the little hanging light bulbs from the laser cut elements, and then I needed something to, because I wanted them to be staggered, and so I pulled in my Thickers Miscellanea collection and found this little banner that says awesome. So I thought that would be perfect to hang the light bulbs from. And then the little circle down in the bottom right, it says laboratory tested certified quality. I have a bunch of science ephemera, and some of them are pretty kitschy. They're very colorful and everything, and so they didn't go with this collection. But this one I thought worked perfectly there. And I just put some of the glasses and some stars around that. Just built a little cluster down there on the bottom right of the photo. And then I pull in a wordy bit. It says, felicitations, acclamations, and congratulations. And so I really like how this turned out. It's a short and sweet layout today. Again, check out all the links below, and I hope that everyone has a great day. Bye.